Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. Join us at latenighthealth.com and on facebook.com/late night health. How would you like to go hitchhiking around the world in the search of wisdom and grace? Well, our next guest has done just that. His name happens to be Neal Grace. And Neal is from Northern California, and we welcome him. He has a book that was released during the summer, Fresh Eyes Upon the World, Making Life a Spectacular Journey. One of the things that I've always said, Neal, is that I love life. I like being here. I don't want to go anyplace. I mean, yeah, maybe there's some pain. People pass. I don't like some politicians. There's some stupid things going on in the world. But bottom line, I really like living here. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Life is a precious gift. And despite all of the underpinnings, the difficulties, the struggles, the grief, the misery, the challenges that we have to endure at different times throughout the day, and certainly different times throughout our lives, life is a precious gift, something to celebrate, something to cherish, something to value, to have reverence for. It's a miracle to be alive, and the more we realize this, the more we can find beauty and peace and meaning and fulfillment in our lives. And, you know, Mark, most people get trapped in the negative, in the dungeon of negativity, and it's really incumbent upon us. It's our responsibility to extricate ourselves from this dungeon and to find joy and beauty and serenity in the world. And again, despite what's going on around you, you can still do that for yourself. And it doesn't mean being oblivious to those things. It means taking your mental perspective and focusing and emphasizing on that which is going to serve you and uplift you.
A lot of negativity in the world. A lot of people suffer from negativity, which can cause stress, anxiety, health issues, you name it, it can happen. Do we look outside to stop this negativity, or do we need to find a way of looking inside and saying, hey, yeah, there's negativity, there's junk going on in the world, my life may be in the crapper, but the bottom line is I love life, and I want to get out of this negative cycle?
That's a great question, because both are very valid and are applicable in today's world. I think it's important to try to take action to bring about a positive dynamic to the world. I think you can go outside and do something, even something very small and very subtle. Everything you do leaves a mark. Everything you do has an impact. At the same time, to go inside, to find the inner joy, to find the spiritual foundation of which all of us are made, to find a sense of inner tranquility so that we can manage our emotions, manage our responses to these negative bombardments. So it's a combination of both. It's all a matter of balance. It's all a matter of integrating the good with the not so good and prevailing with the good. If you know what I mean. And it is a miracle to be alive, and a lot of people get caught up in the mundane, everyday, monotonous activities. And it's important to stop as much as you can, to pause and look around you and see how amazing it is to be alive in this kaleidoscopic journey called life.
What's interesting to me is that most people hate their jobs. I can't remember the exact percentage. It's over 70%. They work 9 to 5. The average, I think, income for a family now is around $45,000 or $50,000. You're a millionaire yourself. You've traveled all over the world. You've experienced downtimes and you've experienced uptimes. Are we all supposed to experience uptimes, or do we need that balance of good and bad?
Well, first of all, I want to address the thing about work. Work can be very tedious and very debilitating. There's no question many people find the drudgery of work quite painful and quite uninspiring.
That's why they call it work.
That's right. And I think that we need to, as individuals, we need to do our best to somehow find something we can resonate with that can also give us ample money so that we could survive, because money is indispensable in today's world. And I think it's also very important to have a good attitude, to try to cultivate and refine your attitude so that you make the best of the situation, of the set of circumstances you find yourself in. The second thing is, I don't think that we are destined to be miserable creatures. I think we are preordained to be happy and joyous creatures. As we're born into this world, most children are pretty happy, fundamentally and intrinsically.
So somehow we screw it up ourselves.
Yes, and as we get older, it is difficult. I'm not trying to sweep this under the rug or doctrinate it or offer a sweet solution to everything. There are challenges and obstacles in the world for all of us. Physically, emotionally, psychologically, socially, financially, romantically, relationship-wise, and that's what I try to do in my book. I try to offer very quick solutions that you can apply that will really make your life much more of an enrichment and a much more meaningful life. And I think that the more we can strive toward the good things, the more we will be at peace with what is, and that we can manage and cope with the things that are not so good.
Neal, when you started your journey, you traveled to 30 plus countries. You spent time avoiding the KGB in Moscow. You were even in a psychiatric ward. Did you have money in your pocket to do this, or did you just kind of start walking one day, just like Forrest Gump?
I've had a multitude of rather menial jobs. I was always able to sustain myself. I never went hungry. I never had very much. I was pretty much on the edge of destitution, but I had enough to survive and to do the things I wanted to do. And I wanted to experience many, many things in the world. I was kind of unconventional. I was kind of a rebel in that I didn't follow the traditional orthodox path, and I wanted to see the world. I wanted to explore and investigate different lifestyles and different places in the world. So I was very ambitious about adventure. I wanted to go out and see the world and experience the world and learn from all these things. And I did it, and I really didn't work a full-time job until a more conventional job until I was 32 years old. So I spent most of my 20s as a wandering minstrel, poet, seeker, spiritual seeker, whatever you want to call it.
A street performer in San Francisco? You live in Northern California.
I did not in San Francisco, but I did a whole slew of various events. I put on poetic, musical events and inspirational events later on. And so I was really determined to sink my teeth, so to speak, into the wildness and mystery and wonder of life.
When you were a kid, and when you're in your 20s, you're still a kid.
Yes.
Right? Don't you agree? Looking back,
I think yes. In retrospect, we're a child our entire lives. I think the older we get, hopefully, the wiser we get. As long as we're open and we're receptive to learning and expanding and growing. We have to have an open heart. We have to have a sense of faith, a sense of spirituality, a sense of inner values and virtues that we want to promote, not only to ourselves, but in all of our interactions with other people. And I think, Mark, that is one of the fundamental flaws or difficulties in the world, is that most people are not developing and cultivating a sense of humanity. Their humanitarian values and living by those values. That's why there's so much division and alienation and hostility and condemnation and different factions that are fighting furiously with each other.
If somebody's Christian or Buddhist or Jewish or Catholic or I'm leaving others out, can they follow your guidelines in Fresh Eyes?
Yes, because my guideline is very practical, it's very applicable, and it's really about life. It's transcending all of these conventionalities, and let's say what's logical, what's simply the truth, what's objective. Be kind, be considerate, be compassionate, be understanding, be self-loving, self-giving, be giving to others. All of these things can be applied and can be indoctrinated into a Christian, Jewish, or Buddhist faith. It's really taking the values of traditional religion and distilling them down into very simple terms so that we can be universal in our philosophy and our perspectives, rather than saying, I'm this, I'm that. Because most religions and many cultural organizations separate themselves from everything else. And I'm saying we're all part of this amazing kaleidoscopic world called planet Earth. And we're all participants in the dance of life.
But you're also saying, it's simply the truth. Most religions that I'm aware of say we're the right way. We're the
right.
One.
That's
right?
a fallacy. That's a fallacy, because what that does, that's a form of, and I hate to use this word, brainwashing, because what they're doing is they're conditioning their followers to believe a certain narrow, prescribed definition of what existence is all about. I'm saying that existence is really about the mystery of what is, and living within that mystery in a sacred and precious and uplifting and inspirational and creative way. And religions can very much tell people, this is the way, this is the truth, this is how it originated. And I'm asking people, I'm encouraging people to look independently from what you've been taught at the world and come to your own conclusions, because if you really do that, you're going to see a much deeper, a much more profound truth.
When you started on your journey, did your family and friends say, oh my, Neal has gone off the deep end?
I think my family and friends thought I went off the deep end from the time I was a little boy. I was always kind of a iconoclast. I was always different. I always, not that I take pride in that or anything, it was kind of preordained. It was kind of predestined that I would follow my own individual and unique path. And I'm not saying everybody has to do that, but I think it's more important for us to really separate from the conditioning process, to see our own independent, autonomous, spiritual unfoldment.
Neal Grace is our guest. He's a guy who marches to his own drummer and encourages others to do the same. The name of the book, Fresh Eyes Upon the World, Making Life a Spectacular Journey. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. We have some time left with Neal coming up. We'll be back as Late Night Health continues. Join us at latenighthealth.com, latenighthealth.com.
Welcome to Guide to the Soul. This is Robert Clancy. You are a beautiful masterpiece of celestial art. God sculpted your body, painted your portrait, and forged your blessed soul from the stardust. As with any masterwork, you may weather with age or get damaged a bit along the way. But doesn't that add to your beauty and mystique? Don't ever change who you are. You're loved and cherished in heaven, just the way you are. Of all the challenges you've faced in life, you can be only made better for them. The greatest masterworks on earth have all been ravaged by the tests of time, only to become more revered in their inherent beauty. Always know you're one of God's masterworks meant to shine in that same way.
For more inspiration from Robert Clancy, visit GuideToTheSoul.com or go to the Moments with Robert page on LateNightHealth.com. There's a lot of talk all over the internet about the remarkable benefits of Carbon 60, and baby boomers are especially excited about it. Greska's Carbon 60 is the premium Carbon 60, developed by an aerospace and NASA scientist. 95% of Greska's customers report positive results from this Nobel Prize-winning technology in just 4 days. Imagine more energy, better health, and more vitality. It's very bioavailable to quickly mend toxin-crippled cells. This is a super powerful antioxidant. Bob Greska is so confident that you'll love his Carbon 60, he wants to send you a bottle at 50% off the regular price to see how life-changing this will be for you. Call 720-600-6040. That's 720-600-6040. Visit c-60.com to learn more. Call 720-600-6040 now or visit c-60.com.